to the microphone tone. I am your host, LEVADA GROOVY, and welcome Mr. Soul Brother number 7. If you know a poet,
Give that purr though. What's that all about?
number 7. Don't interrupt me.
Look, I'm talking to Eartha Kitt or something. You might be a bit young to know who she is, but anyways, no, I'm pretty sure you know.
He knows Santa, baby. He know. Look, this was Soul Brother number 7 do. If you know a poet who has published a book with LA's established CLI Community Literature Initiative, chances are he's responsible, okay? He's rapped and hosted LA's hip hop open mics. Which one is it?
LA's premier hip hop open mic.
Project Blowed.
There you go.
Okay, he has hosted, performed, featured all across Southern California, and he has published in books, Peace in the Pocket, Sounds from the Water, and Knowledge of Self, all out now. He is Mr. Kuahmel. Y'all give it up.
Hey. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah,
First of all, I have to on camera thank you for yesterday at Leimert Park.
It's my pleasure.
Coming through like you did, boisterous. The crowd was starting to die. They were starting to get a little fizzled, a little frayed. Then you came through.
You know, you stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready, and you know, have a little something for them to pick them up. You know, I remember Arsenio called it the showbiz BS. You know what I'm saying?
Arsenio would know.
Yeah, no.
But that's something that KRS-One would say.
Yeah. No, it was on that one record. I believe it was original lyrics. Yeah, that one on the Edutainment album. I was a big fan of that when I was a kid. That album, I used to slap that start to finish. That John changed my life quite a bit back in 9th grade. So yeah, that was one that really had me sparked on what lyrics can do and what you know, having knowledge can do. And I don't want to say that even in a light way, because people are like, oh, he be kicking knowledge and all that. It's like no, but like on a serious like exploration of self. And I thought that was real fly when I was listening to that album along with X-Clan and a lot of what other joints were pumping at the time. You know, that whole 89, 90, 91 energy. So that led me some real good places.
You said X-Clan. Careful, you're showing your age right there. Let the people know how old you are.
I'm a grown freaking man. I'm not gonna tell my age.
A grown ass man. Okay.
Yeah. That's all they need to know.
That's all they need to know. Okay.
I grew up in the '80s, so I do love the '80s. You know.
In Los Angeles?
Yes, indeed. I'm very much from here. As a kid, I mean, I was a visual artist. You know, one to you know, big on the giant robots, big on Star Wars, my first love, you know, and superheroes and stuff like that.
Right
so
on.
I was like, you know, big on, you know, really getting a nice visual out there, because I wanted to break into comics and cartoons at the time. So the next year, like that leads me to writing my very first rap was, you know, when you think about it, it's the energy of K-Day. You know, you're hearing all this, you know, this great music that was on there. You know, of course, it's Houdini, Run DMC, Fat Boys,
Right.
that bring me into hip hop. You know, Grandmaster Flash with White Lines and everything. So, you know, that's what really kind of brought me into hip hop, the dances, and you know, seeing the videos on BET and the certain shows like Graffiti Rock coming on Channel 4 and you know, stuff like that. So that energy, you know, the Adidas and the Pumas with the fat laces and all that, we were on that tough, you know, when I was in 2nd grade, and that's what parlayed to, you know, really starting to pay that a lot of attention, along with the drawing, and then eventually getting into the comics. And I said, okay, I'm feeling this. Let me see if I can, you know, pen a little something. I'm 10 years old, so I mean, you know.
Okay.
So it's a kid's energy, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I said, let me get that a shot. So I wrote that one, and didn't do a damn thing with it.
Did you let somebody hear it?
From there.
No. Did you let somebody hear it?
A neighbor kid.
What did the neighbor kid say?
Needless to say, he called himself. Not giving me props. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So we're in middle school with the boys. Now high school comes around.
No. I was in elementary.
Elementary.
Yeah. So
middle school.
So get to middle school. So I had you know, written, you know, my second rap, you know, 5th grade, 11 years old. Then when I was 14, I remember that record 100 Miles of Running came out, NWA, and I had you know, penned a little something at that time. I want to say this also. This is kind of crazy that led me to a lot of you know, like I said, the X-Clan and all that, that I kind of really get my first idea of what blackness is like in 7th grade.
Through music?
Pretty much, because really, I mean, you know, it wasn't like a crazy drill thing. Not to say that my people's are sellouts, because we ain't no sellouts around us, you know. But at the same time, it wasn't a heavily militant household, but it also wasn't like a heavily woe is me household, if you know what I mean.
Both parents?
Yes,
Okay.
indeed, yes. Together to this day, you know, together to this day, and it was just that idea of the power of black and the beauty of black and the strength and the creativity and like the just the dynamic, you know, all that about blackness, you know. I mean, what we were seeing with the African medallions and things, and you know, the way we cut the hair, you know, having the flat top, you know, the Gumby fades, and you know, people were beginning to twist locks at the time, you know, besides the reggae people,
Besides Bob,
you know, and besides, you know, the Haitians. I know a lot of them were doing their thing in Miami, but you know, we were starting to see that sort of thing in LA crop up. So yeah,
where you
know,
drew the blackness from?
I mean, yeah. So I'm paying attention to a lot of that stuff, and I'm getting like, okay, like, you know, like Pac said, had feeling like black was the thing to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it put the battery in the back. It made the spine straighter. You know what I'm saying? So again, that gave me a little bit of an edge versus, you know, like I said, I'm not out there banging. I ain't no football hero. You know, I'm an artist. I've always been an artist of some sort.
Always, okay.
So, you know, seeing that as well, it has sparked me to want to begin exploring the rap. So now I'm going to fast forward to where I get to, you know, full-time writing, and then throw it back to you. So 10th grade, I'm at Gardena High, you know, coming out of, you know, like I said, I went to a couple of junior highs, went to Clay and then to Portola and Tarzana. Janet Jackson went there, just a couple other people.
Okay.
I'm not that old. You know what I'm saying? Janet Jackson's a few years before me.
You said Tarzana though. I'm like, who?
Yeah, good old Valley. But I know her, Bussy. But I was a Magnet kid, so that's why I went there. But anyways, so getting to Gardena High, we were a lot of us were sparked on. Again, you know, those same records we were peeping on, Yo MTV Raps, you know, hearing K-Day, you know, K-Day, by the time I got to high school, had just gone away that year. That Bob discovered, you know, the Source magazine, and was reading a lot of those and digging up into those reviews, and it made me think a lot deeper on what the records were doing, and reading those interviews, and you know, hearing how these people were kind of exploring their thoughts, you know, some of what Cypress Hill was saying about, you know, weed early on, that kind of led to that acceptance that we definitely didn't just say no 80s, you know, but in the 90s we started to kind of see.
Not Nancy Reagan.
No, you already know. I'm not gonna get into the whole Reagan thing. I have my political bent, but there's things I can say about that, but that's for another show. I would just begin to do the knowledge to what I was seeing them talk about, and I you know, not just Cypress Hill, you know, whether it was Tribe, P Rock and CL Smooth, all these different groups, and I found it quite fascinating, and I liked what they commanded. Like they all commanded a certain respect. You know, that's just like how Chuck D and Chris and all them before them command a certain respect, and then also cats like Chris had spit, they had styles, they had skills, they had pen like no other. He has that
same thing that Busta has, like that.
Yes, that's a good point. Go ahead.
Like jumper cables on hip hop, like the magnetic that gets pulled from them to you or to you to them. Is I don't think it has been replaced by many artists.
I'm saying because that has to really be paid attention to, because you know, sometimes I go on YouTube and go on like a little jag, like maybe have like a Tupac day, have a Gangstar day, and I feel Gangstar, you know, spits that man music. They make that real solid, you know, like manhood exploration stuff. And you know, we have a Cool Mo D day, and we look at some of those records. Like one record that really I just loved to the core was Rise and Shine, because it was like the generals of the time, and you would see like just a cavalcade of stars in the video. It was like the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and the X-Men and the Defenders all got together.
That's an artistic way.
So I was feeling that like, yo, I want to be part of something like that. So while I was still drawing at the same time, a couple years later, I'm 16, up in high school, I clear out a notebook. I said, okay, this ain't for school no more. This one's gonna be where the
rhymes go.
Get paid. I'm looking at it actually, but at the same time, I said, okay, let's figure this out. Let's go into some bars. You know what I'm saying? Let's play with this a little bit. Now, one thing though, it was in the time of, I mean, of course, Busta Rhymes and the leaders and them doing their thing. So I mean, definitely that's one of my style icons. Love that brother. But then at the same time, Criss Cross is around, and DOS Effects.
So about them.
Yeah, many would. Now the thing is, with DOS Effects, again, while they had spit, it was that they were known for the miggity at the time. You know what I'm saying? So people would roll that up into the stuff that they wrote from east to west, and I was no exception. You know what I'm saying? So
did that. Okay.
it would. I mean, hey, I was a kid.
And it came with it. Exactly.
I was learning how to deal with the rhyme and how to make couplets and how to get bar structure. I would write joints that were like crazy long and not even have any idea that I was writing really long verses. But it was just, okay, let me just throw everything at this thing and see what sticks. And Pete Rock and CL Smooth, CL Smooth had that he had that golden voice.
CL, he's a top influence of mine.
Yeah,
top.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Yeah, because just the way he would
never judge a book by its cover.
I'm saying. I mean, and he wasn't no super gruff dude either.
He wasn't.
I mean, the way he would hit the mic, it wasn't with some big massive punch.
It wasn't. It was always smooth.
Yeah,
and the way he opened up the story, just like that, smooth.
It was a real relaxed flow. Yes, indeed. And versus it was a good contrast to what Busta was doing. But really informing the sound that I wanted to go towards was again digging in the crates. Diamond D, Showbiz and AG, Fat Joe, even though Fat Joe wasn't, and he might have heard this from some people that he wasn't super up to par at the time, but people had his back though.
Okay.
People had his back, and then within about 1.5 albums, okay, Fat Joe was on point.
Pun hooked him.
Yeah, indeed. Well, no, this was a little before Pun actually. No, it was just strictly DITC.
The couple with Pun, it was a mastery.
Indeed. Yeah. I mean, Fat Joe had quite a few notches on the belt. He had some experience. So
experience.
Yes, exactly. Just the chef's kiss. Like, okay, you know what you're doing now. I like that.
I like that.
But yeah, so them early Big L, OC, who was mostly down with Organized Confusion at the time. He began to roll more with digging in the crates. But it was the thing about the idea of even the name alone, never mind what they were actually doing. So, going into records like these and then going 2 steps further into those samples, you would never think like you'd make something like this. What the hell? Like,
space sounds.
Yeah. Premier was doing that sort of thing too, and Pete, because they would all hang out. So again, back to my whole Avengers, Fantastic Four, X-Men point, just to
Star
see
Wars.
like these generals, these giants just hang out like that. And they would jump on each other's tunes. So this is like around the first time of the so-called posse cuts, or where you're seeing like a lot of guest features on records. This was the sort of thing that I thought was really exciting. And I said to myself, okay, that sort of thing, plus the knowledge itself, I'd like to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? So that was a lot of the spark to say, okay, full-time penning. I guess as we fast forward a bit now, dealing with the 5%, getting the knowledge of self, and beginning to find a taste for one to kind of reach out and teach people as I had it together.
Okay, is that the first thing that you did after the derailment? You came back to teaching.
I wasn't ready to teach just yet, but I was steady building. And I'll include the Christians in this too.
Okay.
And atheists, that everybody has something that you can use. You know, just like, you know, if you're listening to so many rappers, so many singers, reading so many poets, everybody's got something that you can use and find as a point of growth.
Well, let's go into something that you can use. What do you look for in certain individuals as a primary base for them? Not like, let's say you and I are different in our poetry, but there's something about the both of us that you, on the outside of you looking into us, would see.
Okay, before I go into one thing that I kind of, I guess, could consider more advanced, one thing I look for is if somebody has an interesting idea or a frame of reference, or, you know, they come with some reference that like just kind of, you know, just kind of tickles me a little bit, you know. I mean, it could be, you know, some obscure, you know, reference to like a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Like, oh, like, what the heck do you know about The Last Starfighter, for instance? And I'll be like, oh, okay, that sparks you up a bit. This makes this person interesting versus the person that's just, you know, talking about, you know, how many episodes of Friends they saw, and, you know, they're leaning back with their girlfriend or boyfriend and they have a thing about Rachel and Ross. Like, okay, that... Is that like, that doesn't move me at all. I'm sorry, you know. I'm not a Friends person. What can I say? But
we are living. Back to you.
I'm not getting into that one. She said that.
Back to you.
I'm leaving that one alone. Yeah, but
I just said okay.
But yeah, things like that can have me like, oh, okay, now that makes you interesting to me. So there's something like that, or. Now to that more advanced thing I wanted to bring up, that makes me say, "Oh, okay, that person." But if I hear that rap, or if I hear that poem, some that I call the back to the lab effect.
Back to the lab effect.
Like,
what does that mean?
Like when somebody just spits something, it's either so together, or they showed you a way to work the tongue, or they showed you wordplay that just made you say, "Run that back, man." If I was listening,
rewind.
If I was listening to that, run it back. Or otherwise, you know, after I just got through watching you on stage, yeah, back to the lab. I got to go through mine. So anybody in the world, if flying out into LA. Come out and check out the Sims Library of Poetry, because it's there, 2702 West Florence in Los Angeles. So that's between Venice and Crenshaw. A bunch of speeders over there. So please watch out for the weirdos and the challengers and chargers that are playing my first muscle car. But at the same time,
you going down Florence, watch out for them potholes.
That too. Why the city of LA is no longer fixing the streets is beyond me.
So when you mentioned classes earlier, what's involved in the class?
So we have publishing classes, and they're weekly classes. We're doing like two semester sessions, and this is a 10-month program. So we're in there creating the book, start to finish. So if you were to get in it yourself, you're in there compiling a manuscript from day one. You know, you're a person of a certain talent, and you've got, you know, maybe X number of pages of poetry. And we're in there, we're workshopping those works, you know, the things that either you think are finished, you know, maybe they are finished, maybe they're good to go as they are, or they're works in progress. We're workshopping those together, getting them ready for publication. Okay. And we're also writing brand new poems together. Okay. One thing I like to say to folks, you know, we run across a lot of people that think they got it all figured out. You know, you do too, and that's what I mean by we, you and me. But whether you've been at this 2 years, 22 years, or 52 years, chances are in the CLI publishing class, you're gonna hear something or practice something that you often don't, because, you know, you just can't be bothered like that, or maybe it's something that you didn't pick up on and just weren't aware. Okay. So that's what's going on, and it's that good, again, that nexus of a lot of different people and disciplines. And now, you know, as of last year, because of, you know, what the pandemic led to, you know, the whole thing with you know, everybody getting stuck on. Yeah, exactly. It's a drill their head off so we forget other words. But anyways, with Zoom being the place that the classes were and currently were taking place now. Some are going to begin to be back in person pretty soon. That gave us the ability to draw in people from outside Southern California.
Oh,
so we
okay.
began to, get folks that were from Chicago, from Denver, Atlanta, Austin and Houston, Texas, Boston, DC and Maryland, places like that, the Bay, Sacramento, and many more, and begin to hear the perspectives from those places. Whether people are just writing about love, or writing about mental health, or writing about blackness, or being Latino, or writing about being Asian, writing about being white. We've accepted all walks of life from day one, but from that point of whatever they're usually talking about, you get up in there and begin to stretch out, because you're gonna hear the others, and you're gonna get assigned works that will make you need to explore further, dig deeper, think bigger on what your poetry can actually be.
Right.
Because many of us think, okay, we pigeonhole ourselves a certain place. We're like, no, I'm a woman, I just want to write about how men are trash. Okay.
Other experiences.
No.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't think men are trash, but
other experiences do allow you to think different. They open you up to a different perspective.
Like, what else can you say with the craft? What else can you do with the craft? We're going to get you out there. We're going to say, okay, go to these events. Tell the people what you do.
Okay.
As you were talking about the Lamert thing yesterday, the two sisters I brought there, I wanted to give them that next perspective. Like, okay, here's another arena, not one you're used to. Okay, you're over here in the Valley, you're over here in Long Beach,
right,
or you're over here in Alabama, and now you're in town.
And coming to Lamert is definitely one of those places that'll mold you.
Yeah, because you get
firsthand, quick hand response.
Because Lamert itself is a place full of people with a lot of opinions, and some that you may not be very comfortable with.
You may not.
I wasn't comfortable with some of what was going on, last year. That I was like, y'all my folks, but I'm about to kind of rethink what you got going on.
Okay.
Because it doesn't mean that people are right or they're wrong. It's just another perspective. It's another opinion. Same thing with any poet that you hear. It's just another perspective, another opinion, another point of view. And in said poem, you take it and you explore it.
Okay.
Maybe you find your free verse flow. Maybe you find your form flow. Maybe you find your rhyme flow.
Right.
And then these things you begin to explore to get them ready for the page and the stage.
Right.
Which was a thing that was already important for me.
It's very.
But now we're bringing it into people that are making books.
So before we get into your poetry, I want to know the first time that you tried to engage the crowd with the human experiences, and how did it go?
I would say it was becoming a more seasoned rap performer, and you're seeing that you gotta hype the crowd up, and I didn't have a hype man. Your more seasoned acts. They get some guy to run around.
Flavor Flav was behind you.
Hit him off with the big money, and I could go on about Flavor Flav, but even that's kind of another show. But the idea of, okay, like, I'm here all by myself, many rappers, kind of just want to be solo acts because, I get to keep all the money to myself. But me, I'm like, okay, I got enough to say, enough to engage them with, that I don't need to be, I am part of one group act at the moment that this is being filmed here.
What's the group
that we're working on? I can't give that working title, working name away right now, because we're recording a little bit.
Okay.
And we've begun to develop the sound.
Okay.
But at the same time, we're both solo acts that were able to say, okay, well, let's do this Marvel team up and see how we could take down these villains. So we are each equipped with the ability to engage people all by ourselves. So Doing that with the rap performance set, and then having to do that as a host, because you got to be able to be the interstitial between two acts. You know, as one gets off and then you bring on the next.
Especially if one wasn't the caliber wasn't heavy.
Exactly.
Coming to transition to somebody else who can hold a crowd.
Exactly. So you need to be that in between energy to hang on to your people, or maybe send them over to the bar like the DJs be doing. They'll throw that one cut on. It will kick everybody off the floor. So you have to play with that similar energy as a host and as a performer, and really keep the crowd motivated. The MC moves the crowd. The host is moving the crowd like the chess pieces as well. So that was a lot of where I already kind of had that going, and I had to watch. It's just like the stand-up comics, and I treat my poetry like a stand-up comic. As I go out there and work the material.
Right.
But you're watching how every type of performer does their thing. Whether it's the rappers, singers, stand-ups, poets, you're taking class as you watch them on the stage, or as you watch that show, watch that video.
It's a must.
And you're seeing how they work these crowds and the way they hold microphones. That thing the rappers are doing, this whole thing, cupping the crowd and having them kissing and licking it. No, you don't do that. Rappers are falling in love with that, but you don't have to do that. Look at game show hosts, look at comedians, and a calm place to hold the mic, and get comfortable, so you're now comfortable to get into the material, and really see what's happening, and then reach back out to the crowd and be like, okay, well, what's going on with y'all? Checking in. How y'all feeling? Let me take you into this new energy. I just want to make sure y'all here. Let's go.
Right.
And it takes practice though. It takes practice. So you're watching and you're figuring out, okay, but what might I want to try next? What may engage the people? What may be a fun thing to play with?
Right.
I remember this comedian Derek Fox said, it was on Def Comedy Jam back in the day. It was something. It was supposed to be something where it was like, oh, like if you don't like whoop whoop wop, let me hear you be quiet. Then he points out, it's like it was like kind of one of those things, like, okay, trying to figure out what other, again, showbiz BS a person could bring to the table to kind of just do something different. Like I was also watching Kimmel once. Like they introduced, whatever musical guest or just whatever guest about to come on next. So this comedian was about to come on, and he's like, okay, this person's been bing bing bang XYZ. He says, please pay attention to Todd Berry. I said, oh, I like that line. Pay attention to this person. Like if he's about to come on right now. Like shake it up a little bit. It's the same thing. If you're a radio host. Like KBLA, they have this thing I'm not super big on, but I know they like, okay, well, it's not when we come back, it's when we come forward. Then I'm thinking to myself, oh, what's wrong with saying when we continue or when we return or coming up or, I'm thinking about all these different things like, I guess that's different enough for them.
Okay.
So, hey, I like what the hosts are doing over on KBLA. That particular choice is a bit interesting. I called him about one other that I was like, don't ever do that again. But I thought it was quite engaging.
They're gonna see your number and be like,
they might do that, but I let them know. I talk this way because I care. I clown people because I care. I kid because I care, like Chris Myers used to say back in the day. And if I didn't care, you probably wouldn't hear a peep from me.
Okay.
Like, okay, well, this guy just, whatever. You got it all figured out, rock on with your bad self.
Well, can we hear about how you care about your poetry? Can you get into that? Like, spit it right now.
I see, I thought you were giving me something else.
Why
are you messing with me, LEVADA?
Well, see, I didn't mean to. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Casual,
yes, I did.
Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
I want to hear it. I'm sure the people want to hear it, too.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would.
Oh,
be nice. Be nice. Let's be nice. Let me help you be nice.
Okay.
And you don't get to sit.
This one goes out to everybody who's native to Southern California and everyone who wants to have a piece of the action here. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of history. This one's called Los Angeles Black. Check it out. Some think we're little more than a big rat race full of smoggy air, gang banging and earthquakes. People just don't understand my feelings for this place. It's my heart, y'all. Always puts a grin on my face. It was there when the chicks weren't, there when the money wasn't. And those who feel me know there's memories by the dozens, dating back to when the 110 was just the 11. The simpler times they were, that much more pleasant. And it wasn't even all about your level of clout. The gas would get put away because the honeys was out in full force. You get busy one time with a dime, it would have you peace for the rest of the week. You be on the Shaw all weekend long chilling with freaks. Load them up mad deep in the Chevy Caprice, or your Regal, or your Caddy, or your Lincoln, or your SS, and you would never leave the house without being the best dressed. The latest kicks of the season to match with your shirt. You comb your hair, brush the teeth, and it was time to do work because there was a whole lot to do. To the soundtrack of KACE or Cute 102. All right was how I all felt, and some was the medicine along with some grub from that fat burger off Jefferson. This is just a taste of the city I've seen. It's one small slice of the Black American dream. You had the high school campus top 10 on K-Day. That was the past and the future would be better. Watts Festival in the street scene downtown. That was the past and the future would be better. K-Dub, nothing but trouble and all them tagging crews. That was the past and the future would be better. All the swap meets of Barack before the riots burned them all down. That was the past. You see, these are memories of my city. Let me reframe them for your enjoyment. The days of more character and less unemployment. Just breathe it all in and smell that potpourri from back when the MTA was the RTD. Back when them dudes from Juju did brown rice and barbecue. They ain't serving no liquor, but they sure wasn't starving you as you were rocking down an old warehouse like Unity. It was a loving with your close folks, the whole community. Same as the day Mandela came out to the Coliseum. It was the hottest damn ticket in town. You had to see him. Tone Loc and Def Jeff had rocked the same stage. The best memory since Fox Hills Mall had the arcade. It was the Black family reunion all over again. Oh yes, I am taking it back on this night, my friend. Like the feeler sweaters that are matched with the Kango hats. Better yet, living in LA shirts with the dog on it. You could buy a cup of Joe before you were caught yawning. Up at Fifth Street Dicks until 4 in the morning. The old men were going hard with some chess, clocks and all. Enjoy the scenery, so lovely that tears could fall. The good life, African Marketplace, Mavericks Flat, total experience. Boy, it made you love being black. The point of all this is to expand your understanding because I love black people and I love Los Angeles. So, we talk to the people out there who got that work husband, got that work wife, got that work fling, or that work person they want to do the thing with. I want to talk about that for a minute because we all have been through that. Some of y'all are playing like you're goody two shoes and like you ain't never looked at that coworker like, yeah, stop it. Just stop it.
Make them tell the truth.
So this is called Hawk the Coworker. Let's talk to you. Her sin was so beautiful, so luxurious. With the way she wore her clothes, I was curious, but not too much so because from experience, I know better. I don't defecate where I eat ever. You see, she was a coworker of mine with me about life and getting my guap up, I draw the line. I'd rather raise the cream from my wallet than from my mushroom tip, even though I am digging on her broadband lips and the way she plays them grown folk tunes while in the office. The supervisor come over, then she'll turn them off quick. When he ate, I'm hearing t-shirt and my panties on, along with LSG and Blackstreet. Got me like, damn, she's wrong. Or should I say she's bold? Because if I was my damn self, I would ask to see that Tootsie Roll or for her to do that stanky leg on a casual Friday. And when we get off, enjoy a drink and swing my way so I can give her a raise that she won't see in her check. But I'm not about that sexual harassment, Drake. That means I gotta leave her be. Until the day one of us quit or got fired, then I can say that's all me. Because I know them cinnamon cakes are so delicious. But when wanting sweeter pockets dictates my decision. Knowing damn well I can eat her up with 0 condiments. However, I'm not stupid. I can't even give her compliments. Whether it's right or wrong, my digging on her, she will never know. Because I refuse to stop my dough or my rise to power. Though I do envision giving her a creamy shower after business hours. This was called Time-Centered Mind. Let's take your place. Hey, yo, Jazz used to play like mad on Central Ave. 50 years later on Crenshaw, the 5%ers built on math. Quite the contrast. 2 time periods passed and the nostalgic wish would last. They crunch the teeth that remain in their mouth as they wax insane. Since it is an aim to want to time travel away from what currently leaves the city baffled. Traffic is bafflingly tight like gnat booty. Leaves you not in the mood to do your duty and get through the day. You just want to pour Calgon of water and say, take me away, so far away. Oh, can't you see what the city does to thee? Everyday residents. It's kind of why Bush did not want to touch down on a certain town when he was president. Never mind the optics. It's about how you feel. Is NFL season yet? When will the gladiators hit the field to entertain the hoi polloi? The Negroes need their mind off their woes. The Negroes need hope for the future. Some sign that things will once again be beautiful. Kind of like the porny loving that folks indulge in with satisfying results in most cases. We just want smiles on our faces, right? Maybe that'll happen on an adjacent night. Now you understand what humanity will chase and fight. That's why movements that occupy our focus and time matter. They give us a chance to grow beyond the status quo into a world our minds want to know.
Where can they find you?
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at Kuahmel, Kuahmel. I love talking to the people. There's videos of me out there, kind of bump around, search the same name. And the books, Peace in the Pocket, first solo collection out now on World Stage Press. First ever book I got in, Knowledge of Self, out now on Supreme Design Publishing. Sounds from the Waters, you can find it out there. Still Waters Publishing. Albums, On the Fly, and Call It an Album. Go to kuahmel.bandcamp.com. Kuahmel.bandcamp.com. More to come. Stay tuned.
And that's the microphone tone.